Welcome to the last official 1 Million Cups meeting of 2023. We will be meeting next week, but it is a holiday party. There will not be any programming of any kind. So we thought this week we would do something special. Before we do that, if you're gonna take photos, please do, and post it on Instagram and tag us at 1MC Orlando. If you would, that would be awesome. We are recording these sessions, and I already hit the record button. This week, we are doing something we've never done before, and we are doing speed teaching. There will be 7 of us, people who are on the organizing committee. We are going to be talking for 6 minutes each on a topic of our choice. We've got the slide deck all queued up and ready to go, so we're just going to go boom, boom, boom. We're not even going to have transitions or anything like that. We're just going to go from one to the next. So if you were up here, pay attention to where you are and who is before you, because when you're done, you're just going to get up and grab the remote and click the button to advance your slides. It's the button on the right. But before we do that, let's talk about how 1 Million Cups is a community of entrepreneurs. This is more than just a networking group. We don't just bring leads for people. In fact, we don't ask you to do that at all, unlike some places which they charge you, and then they have requirements for you. But we don't do any of that. You just show up, and it's the power of serendipity. You meet the right person at the right place at the right time because you are here on a regular basis, and by doing that, you're in a position to find somebody new, somebody who you can help, somebody who can help you. You get to know this person over coffee, over lunch, a Zoom call or a phone call, and you become somebody who is a trusted advisor, a trusted resource, a referral source, but somebody who can give you the help that you need, or somebody who can use your help. So we become that community by doing those things, plus by educating, engaging, and connecting. We educate by having people come up and talk about their company and talk about their business, ask questions that they are trying to get answered, and then we educate by giving positive, constructive feedback. We ask questions, we do things that help them understand how they can better do their business. We engage by meeting in here or meeting out in the lobby beforehand and getting to know one another, and then we connect, like I said, just by getting to know people outside of 1 Million Cups, meeting for coffee somewhere, whether it's right after this or it's later on in the week, but we get to know each other and build those relationships. Welcome to our new visitors. Do we have anybody who is here for the first time? Dan. So what is your name and how did you hear about us?
I'm sorry?
What's your name and how did you hear about us?
Oh, I'm Dana Lightfoot, and I've been following you guys on Meetup forever, and it's been a little difficult getting over this way until today, because I thought there was another meeting I was supposed to go to, but I was wrong. And I saw you guys, and I said, this is the perfect opportunity for me to check you guys out.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you're here. All right. And you already got a notebook. Do we have anybody else? Okay. The 1 Million Cups Organizing Committee are the people who meet early each Wednesday morning, and we do all the setup, make the coffee, put up the banners, do the donuts, do the video in the back. In fact, Scott did almost all those things today, the banner, the coffee, and the video in the back. And Tim and Danny brought the donuts, but this is the group of people who makes this happen each week. I'm sorry?
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. Yep, in fact, Scott is going to be taking over as the lead organizer starting next January, because I will be stepping back from the leadership role. I'll still stay on the board, but I won't be up here each week. So that'll be Scott, and then I'll probably make the coffee.
Yay!
So
Thank you, Scott.
But the committee also meets, or at least some of us also meet Friday mornings at Donut Central and Fuel Presso, which is at Cimarron and Loma. It's not even an official meeting. It's just some of us go there, but it's kind of a working discussion session. We talk about things. We talk about different issues about the organization, but then we also just help each other and give advice. And and we just sit and do a little work, and then somebody looks up from the computer and asks a question, and we talk about it, and we go back and do our thing. And so we're there from about 9 to 11 every Friday. You do not have to be on the organizing committee to come. Just show up. We'd love to have you. So Cimarron and Aloma. We are supported by NABO of Orlando, SCORE, the Orange County Public Library, and Virtual Entrepreneur, which is Rupert. We are also sponsored by Don Kirkendall at Kirkendall Insurance, and that's where Jacqueline's from. Mike Sutter at Integras, there in the back of the room. His son just got married last weekend. So congratulations. And then Scott Hill of Technology is shooting our video. We record our videos each week and upload those to our YouTube channel and to our Facebook page. We're also sponsored by Rollins College and the Center for Advanced Entrepreneurship, which is where we are now. Orlandopreneur, and they are meeting next Monday. It'll be the first event that I miss in, a year? I haven't missed in a year, but it's my anniversary, and my wife would be pissed if I went. No. It's 30 years. We're not doing any of that. We're doing something. Thank you. We're doing something for us.
But that's 2 free drinks you're giving up.
Yeah. And then Peter Curry of Salai Coffee. If you were drinking coffee this morning, you were enjoying his 100% Kenyan blend. And we're sponsored by the aforementioned Donut Central and Fuel Presso. Serendipity Labs is a co-working space downtown. And then John Swanson provided us some swag. He got us these collectible ceramic mugs. In fact, let's give away some swag. If you have been here for 4 weeks in a row, you get a travel mug. Anybody been here for 4 weeks in a row and maybe didn't get one? No, I'm done. I would, but if I did, I know it would hit him in the face.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Rollins doesn't carry that as a liability.
Yeah, I'm the reason that we have liability insurance. If you've been here for 8 weeks and wear small or double X, we have a t-shirt. If you wear other sizes, we're out of luck until next year. And if you've been here for 12 weeks in a row, you get one of these collectible ceramic mugs. Anybody been here for 12 weeks?
Live.
Anybody been here for 8 weeks and wear a small or double X? All right. Now you guys have been coming for a while.
We're not quite to that milestone yet.
You've been here 4.
Yeah.
Well, you get mugs.
Yeah, we got moved.
Oh, you did get a mug. Okay. Okay, good.
When you drink 1 million cups.
And when you have had 1 million cups of coffee, you get this. Bob says it's great for chocolate pudding, ice cream sundaes,
Hot fudge sundaes. Coke, lemonade.
You write your own jokes.
But it's not enough.
If you want to present at 1 million cups, if you have not ever presented, or if you have presented more than 6 months ago, go to 1millioncups.com/Orlando and click the big present button at the top of the screen. You'll fill out a form. You'll work with Josh Zeppelin on your presentation. Once he approved you, you choose the date that you speak. And we are no speakers next week. We're off on the 27th. And then, what is it, the 3rd? No, 5th, January 5th, we are back. We are looking for speakers. So if anybody's interested, be sure to talk to Josh and let him know your application is coming. So now,
elaborate a little more about next week.
oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Next week, we're having a holiday party. So we're just going to come in, we're going to hang out, we're going to have donuts and coffee. But if anybody wants to bring goodies to share, we're not doing don't bring food like eggs and sausage, nothing like that. But dessert items, donuts, cakes. In fact, be sure to try the cakes and cookies that Barrett Mueller brought today. But stuff like that, little desserty things. So, but we're just going to hang out for the time and just talk and have a good time. So, we don't want to do anything special, but we want to just have fun and kind of thank everybody for a great year.
So you can't flush it and refill it.
Now, we're going to hear from Kia Clayton, and then next is Tim Rickey, and then, I guess, me. Kia.
Yes. Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Kia Clayton, and I'm the founder of Heartvest Estates. Heartvest Estates is a real estate development company that specializes in building 2-unit, single-family residential homes. Um, I have nearly 30 years in real estate, in the real estate industry, and most of that experience has been as a strategic marketer. And my main task was to evaluate the project feasibility based on market analyses. So today, my hope is to share with you just some of the fundamentals of that process that I believe are relevant to other projects and products. Okay. So if I build it, they will come, right? Well, maybe. No. He said no. Well, us entrepreneurs do like to rush our innovations and ideas to the market, but how can we really know if our idea will be accepted? We really need to ensure our success by conducting market-based or market analysis research. So I'm sure if you don't know anything else about real estate, you know that they say the 3 most important things are location, location, location. Okay, that's a boulder dash. The top performers will tell you that it's data, 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 or maybe even data, data dollars. But the data can certainly inform you about your product, people, price, positioning, and pace. And why? What's the end goal? For a successful business? Sure. But what about to build trust among potential investors? That's what I'd like to do. So in order for me to do that, I'll have to have reliable revenue projections that are based on market analysis. So data will help us to test and refine an idea or a product, right? But after all, not all ideas are truly solutions. It's like the ongoing debate of what came first, the chicken or the egg. Well, neither one came first. Actually, what came first was our lack of protein. So now that we recognize that we have a protein problem, we know that either the chicken or the egg are both ideal sources of protein. It doesn't even matter which one came first. Now we can dismiss this very silly time wasting debate. And to me, that's what market analysis does, or being able to qualify or discover a problem based on market analysis. It allows us to see the solution that much clearer, and puts all of the silly ideas or potentially useless ideas to rest. And I do have notes because I'm an older American and I probably need Toastmasters. Okay, so what's the best way to discover a problem, right? Market research, of course, relevant data points. You'll want to focus on demographics, shifts in population, recent or pending policy changes, anything that touches, and sorry that my little wheel there is skewed, but anything that touches your question. You want to know as much about it as you can that is fact-based. So once you're done with the initial market study, because you want your solution to be believable, you'll need to communicate to the market that you've actually done your homework and considered all of those aspects as well. Okay, this was actually supposed to be 3 slides and I crammed it into one. So it's great that we have a product-oriented solution. Now we'll have to do our customer discovery, right? Go back to your market study and then identify your targeted consumer group. The more you know about them, of course, the more effective you'll be at communicating your how well your solution fits their problem. Okay? And then moving to the middle, of course, as supply increases, prices fall, and as demand increases, prices rise. I mention that because in the marketplace, I've only got 1 minute left. Okay, in the marketplace, I've seen pricing that reflects that people don't even have a good idea of basic economics. It's super important, at least the basics. So I like to use an Excel scatter plot. I love to use an Excel scatter plot. And so I'll put my competitors and alternatives here based on their prices and what they're offering. And then I start asking myself questions like, which one is most like me? And if my product is the same, superior, or inferior. And then asking those kind of questions actually allows me to make very logical determinations. Does that mean done? Oh, okay. All right. That was the gist of it. Okay. Do you want me to advance to the?
Yes, I don't know how we're gonna go about this.
Okay. I just need to leave. You should have gone through a rehearsal.
Well, I do on my computer at home, but you don't know if that's,
Remote.
oh, she left it over there, okay. Yeah. The one on the right button? Okay. Finding the profit in your business. This is a big problem. Most of the profit is not in sales. Oh, I'm sorry. Most of the profit is not in the sales. Look below that. And the first thing people have to do, when did you last raise prices? Anytime I ask this of different businesses, it's been years. And my question is, have things gone up? Especially your service business. I do this mostly with service businesses. How do you figure out those certain items? What's your rate per hour you're paying? Workman's comp, medical and social security, state and federal unemployment. Those pretty much will comprise your cost of doing business in the service business. 50% of that. If you double that price, you'll have your retail price. It works. So again, then it leaves you 25% for the rest of the expenses. Your rent, your other office supplies, all of the things you have in your office, and that will leave you with 25% net almost every time. I know I've proved that for 27 years. That's in the service business. So how do you raise the prices? This is the question. Most people they're scared to death to raise the price because they don't know what's going to happen if you raise the price. Anybody? They'll lose the customers, right, exactly. But there's a way to do it so you don't lose the customers. So first of all, I tell them, call the customer. Call them, don't text them, don't email them, call them so you can get that personal connection. You can hear what's going on and you can feel it in the conversation of what's going on so you can approach it properly. And tell them you need your help. You know what? When you ask somebody for help, what do they say? Can I help you if I can, right? Most of them won't do that. So I asked 3 questions. These are the most important questions I've ever asked. When I left the Philip Crosby Quality College back in '85, these popped into my head, these 3 questions, and they were the foundation for my service business. What more can I do for you? Now keep in mind, these are open-ended questions. They're not, how do we do it? Because they'll just say, well, fine, or something, or I don't like it. But if you open-ended, you're going to get a response, and you can record those responses. What less can I do for you? In that case, I saved $17,000 on some supplies to use in the customer's home, said use this instead. That surprised me. I didn't expect to save money. And what less can I do? Where can I change for you? Those are the 3 questions. Simple. Remember them. They're very important to your business. Listen and write, and do listen. And if they don't say enough, can you elaborate on that, please? That was the foundation of our business. And I can get this thing moving, right? You'll find out what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and you're open to change. Compile all those collected ones from all of your clients. And I have 3 minutes or 1? 3 minutes, okay. You compile those, and that becomes a system of knowing exactly what your clients want. Philip Crosby teaches you, don't try and supply everything for everybody because you can't do it. It's impossible. But you get a basis of overall what they all need. That became, in our case, a checklist. Give a team or two in your company, if you've got teams or individuals, and ask them to look at that same thing you compiled and ask them, can we do or do this for the average job? And then they'll give you feedback. Now remember, use your employees, use your customers to find out where you're going. It's very, very important. Make the changes, but listen to the clients and the employees, which I just said that. Feedback is positive. That's when you say, mention inflation. If it's positive, now you can say, well, you know, there's a little inflation going on. And I'll say, there's inflation. Well, listen, we're going to have a slight increase in the next month or two. Would that be fair? In my case, 99% of them said yes, because I said it the right way. I set it up at a stage that can make it work. Set the increase date in a calendar alarm, and set the alarm for 11 months later, because you're going to have to increase every year, just a slight amount. What a lot of people do, they decide, oh, I got to raise my prices. So they try and go up to what the current price should be. But it's too much. Customer's insulted, so you take it a little bit. And one customer, I don't know who I got it on here now. But the screens come up. Okay. In one case, talked to this client in Tampa, and she found out she was adding $19,000 to her bottom line by just doing this. By increasing the price of service by $7 a visit, $19,000, right to the bottom line. And I have 1 minute to finish this up. When you have a new client, a new customer, call them back the next day, not the same day, they gotta think about it. Call them back and follow up with those same 3 questions again, so that you know where you're going in the future. And put it in the schedule, and tell them, we will confirm 1 or 2 days before the next service, or email or text, which is better for you. Because if you confirm, then you don't lose the customer saying, oh, you didn't show up. That's it. Yeah, there you go. That's my contact information. We got 30 seconds for any questions. If you need to go further, I am available. All right, thank you.
Next.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I want to talk about pillar-based content marketing. Now, if anybody knows me, you know I do blogging. I have been blogging since 1997, back before it was called blogging. I've had a blogger.com website since 2003, so 20 years. I have written well over 4,500 pieces of content for clients, as well as nearly 1,500 humor articles, newspaper humor columns over the last 28 years. So I know a little bit about blogging. But and so you should know you need to be blogging every week, ideally every week. But there's a new movement that you can do for 2024, and that is called pillar-based content marketing. And so pillar content marketing, or just pillar blogging, is where you start with a single topic, and you are going to write the exhaustive guide about that topic. It's going to be 4,000 to 7,000 words long. A typical blog article is anywhere from 800 to 1,000, but a pillar post is 4,000 to 7,000 words long. It's going to include several subheads. So you've got the headline and you've got the subheadline, right? That's your H2 code. You set it up as your headline 2 on your blog article. And then you're going to have a lot of information under that. You're even going to have subheads. That's your H3. So, this is important information, point A. And you have like 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, and they're gonna have important information point B, and B.1, B.2. And you're gonna do that. And then each subhead, that 8.1, 8.2, those later become blog topics. You're gonna write blog articles about those. Ideally, you're gonna have, in 4,000 to 7,000 words, you're gonna have 4 to 7 subheads in that. And those become the categories of your blog articles. And then those subheads, the 8.1, 8.2, you're just gonna blog about those topics over and over and over again every week. Hopefully twice a week, but at least once a week. And it all comes based on this. Why do we do this? And this is why it's important. And this is why, despite everything that's going on with TikTok and YouTube, blogging is still the best way to win search on Google. It establishes your authority and your expertise. If you are writing about this exhaustively, you become the industry voice for that topic. And I have done this for a number of different clients as well as myself. Early on in 2007 and 8, I was blogging about blogging. And I became known as the blog guy in Indianapolis, and people would call me up and want to meet with me and talk about blogging. Why should I do it? It was a problem because I was a direct mail guy, and my employer wanted me to talk to people about direct mail, but the people did not. And so when I got laid off, I went to work for the agency that I now own because I was writing about blogging every day. And so that made me the expert, in, not only in the industry, but in the community. It enhances your overall SEO performance, because if you're writing about a particular topic for that pillar post, you've got so much information that Google sees this, and Google loves text. And it goes, oh my God, look at this. Here's all the stuff about this one topic. And now, here are more blog articles about this topic. They all link back to this page, and you should do that. You should say, you know, as we discussed in our big post, or as we discussed last week, and if you're doing all this linking in your website, all of these internal links tell Google, this is important. And if you keep telling it, this is important, this is important, this is important, it recognizes that, hey, this is the ultimate source for all this information, and it's you and your website. It increases your audience engagement. Believe it or not, people want long content. They may skim it, which is why you've got those subheads and those subheads, so it's visually appealing, but they will engage with it a lot more than if it's only 500 words long, because that's not the definitive source. That's a throwaway piece of trash that you clearly didn't care about, and so your reader doesn't care. But if you've got that exhaustive topic, and you do this 3 or 4 times per year, have those 3 or 4 pillar posts, they will engage with that. You want to build that content hub with those internal links, like I was saying earlier. That hub or that post becomes the hub of your content marketing. You've got different links going out from that. And then finally, it's timeless, evergreen content. If you're writing about the right topics and you're doing it well, that stuff works for years. You may go in and update it because there are new changes, but that will work for years. You don't have to do new pillar posts to replace the old one every 3 months. So if you've got any questions, you can reach me here. I'm always happy to meet people for coffee or for lunch. If you want to talk about blogging or you want to talk about humor writing, I'm happy to do that. In fact, speaking of which, tomorrow at the Maitland Public Library at 6:30, I'm doing the 12 professional humor writing secrets.
Not all 12.
All 12. It's the end of the year, I'm going crazy. So anyways, part of the Florida Writers Association, come out to that. I know Tim's planning on coming, so hopefully I will see you there.
Is it Maitland Library?
Maitland Public Library, 6:30 p.m.
Eric, I see a lot of people taking pictures. Let them know this content's going to be available to them.
Yeah, we will make this available to you, but I'm also available afterward too if you want to talk. Jim.
So in March of 1991, I got a phone call that was going to change my life forever because it saved me over $400,000 in the last 30 plus years. I'm going to share with you what that phone call did and meant and why it's important to you as entrepreneurs and business owners. So I was teaching scuba diving in South Florida. Rich happened to be a student of mine. He is a retired, or he was a CPA from Forbes Corporation, and he was starting a new practice down there. So he said, hey, I'll do your taxes for you. I said, okay, great. 10 days after I gave him all the stuff, I got the phone call, get your butt in my office, you're getting screwed. I said, okay, great. So what he did was, he sat down and he explained to me, he said, Jim, there's two different economies in this country, and there's two different tax systems in this country. The economies, 95% of Americans get up every day and say, what can I buy today? And 5% get up and say, what can I supply today? We're being here, we're part of the supply system. He also said that there's two tax systems that go along with those two economies. The first tax system is for the 95%, the people that are going out, punching a clock, working for somebody else. The second tax system is for business owners. And we, as business owners, get a lot of tax benefits and tax breaks that the other people don't. Now, I have to make a disclaimer, I am not a tax professional, I don't do taxes. I'm sharing you with what I've learned, and by spending time with accountants, with enrolled agents and people that can help do this. And if anybody would like an introduction to them, I have relationships with tax professionals that can help you with your business. So what this chart shows you here, on our scenario, you have your, I didn't think I could do that.
Yeah, but Lisa does not do what we wanted to do.
I see
Don't get
that.
carried away with the remote there.
I was just using the laser. So what you'll see here is that with the scenario, you have a married couple, they're punching a clock, they have no deduction, literally paying tax on every dollar that they earn, and they make $125,000 a year. The tax rates are actually for this year, for 2024, and then you can see the big misperception people have. You'll hear them say on TV, you know, politicians especially, oh, this person's a 24%, paying 24% taxes. No, they're not. They're in a 24% tax bracket. It's what's called a marginal tax. All right? So each one of those brackets is a marginal tax. On her first bracket, they're paying 10% on that $23,000. Then from $23,200 to $94,000 or $71,100, then they're paying the 12%. So if you average out their total income, they paid $17,000 in taxes. Their actual tax rate, what they really paid, was 14%. Not 22 or 24 or 22 in this case, which is what the government wants you to believe, or the politicians want you to believe. Important, but here's really the important part. Business owners' taxes, we get to deduct expenses before you pay taxes. So, in our example, the owner could deduct things like home office expenses. You can actually, as the homeowner, lease your own office to your own business and make an income out of it. All right? I have some flyers for you guys for handouts because I don't have time to get into this. I paid my daughter $15 for an hour's worth of time to fold these and print them for me. Okay? It's a tax deduction. It's a tax break that you get, that the government gives you. You get mileage write-offs and all of these things on there. So as a self-employed person making the same money, they have $75,000 in business deductions. They're only paying $5,500 total pay, which is an actual tax rate of 11%, only 4% of what they actually make. That's $12,000 reduction in taxes. Pretty significant, wouldn't you agree? Yeah. So what's the IRS looking for? They want to know that you're running your business like a business, not a hobby. Make sure that you have an LLC, partnership, some form of a business entity. Do you have a business bank account? I recommend having 2 bank accounts. And there's more into it, and we can get into that if you want some other questions, but a minimum 2 accounts. An in account and a separate savings account that you put 20% of your income into to pay for taxes. What type of hours are you working? The government says you have to work a minimum of an hour a day on your business. When are you working? and you attempt to make a profit. And it's great to have some form of a business plan that explains all of this to you. And then this is who I am. Keystone Financial is my company. We're business consulting. We work with businesses, help them do loan financing for startup businesses, legal protection for your business using legal service plan. So I've got a whole bunch of service for a little amount of money. And then JGalt, we help you build true corporate credit. And believe it or not, you need zero credit to be able to build corporate credit. And as a corporate client, you get 10 times more credit available to you corporately than you could ever get personally. Thank you.
All right. Hi, I'm Scott Hill. I am starting a new company called Proxinia. Now, Proxinia is a business accelerator. And what does a business accelerator do? A business accelerator helps startups, businesses move to the next level. What do startups need to know first? They need to know who their customers are. How do you know who your customers are? Well, you can say, I have this product, I have this widget, I have this service, and my customer is everybody. Because everybody needs my service. You're not Amazon yet. You're not Amazon yet. You're not Comcast or Spectrum or AT&T or something like that yet. So, how do you figure out who your customer is? You have to ask, what's your problem? You have to know what somebody's problem is before you can solve it. So if you come up with a solution, that's the best solution in the world, and nobody has that problem, you don't have customers. So how do you figure out what the problem is? Well, first, you don't make those assumptions. You don't assume that you know everything there is to know about your customers until you found out about your customers. So don't assume that everybody who wants your product is going to be able to afford it. Don't assume that everybody who has the problem that you've identified gives a crap about fixing it. How many problems, Jim, how many problems do you have in your house that you look at that and go, yeah, I'm going to get to that someday. Okay, if it doesn't cause pain, it's not a big enough problem. So how do you figure this out? Well, you conduct interviews. You go out and you talk to your potential clients, your potential customers. You ask them questions. You ask them, you know, some people have to deal with this. Do you have to deal with that? If they say no, I don't ever have to deal with that, then you say, thank you very much, I appreciate your time. And you go to the next one, and you talk to them. Or maybe you talk to them a little bit more. You say, okay, well, what is it that you do have to deal with? Because maybe your solution solves a different problem that you didn't even think about. So conducting interviews, talking to them, figuring out what they are all about, and then apply what you learn. Take what you've gotten from those customer interviews, from those conversations, from your learning, and put that into your business plan, your marketing plan. Don't just go with the thing that you wrote when you did your business model canvas, and make sure that you're applying all of the things that you've learned from talking to your customers. Adjust your business plan, pivot. Somebody in here just pivoted with what they're working on. So be aware that you can pivot before you have a single product out on the market. You can pivot while you're working on your idea. That's what I've been doing. I've been pivoting. So once you've figured out who your customers are, what their problems are, by talking to them, applying that. Now, take all of that information, I recommend that you create a persona or an avatar. This is, who would my best client be, my best customer? What do they look like? Now, that is Michael Anderson. He's my avatar. What's Michael's deal? I have a little bit of information about Michael. How do you get this level of information? By asking questions. Let's go back to that interview. You go back and you talk to them and you get all that information. There is a man who wrote a book, a series of books back in the 80s, 90s, Harvey McKay. He came up with the McKay 66. I highly recommend, if you don't know how to conduct an interview with a customer, you look up the McKay 66. It's a set of 66 questions that just dive into who your customer is, what their hobbies are, what their family life is like. I mean, get personal. Get a little uncomfortable sometimes. It's okay, because that's going to make your product fit their problem a lot better. And then remember that things change. And sometimes people step all over your product. And it's unrecognizable. Which means you're no longer solving the problem that they have. Or maybe times have changed. Maybe people don't use that little dialy thing on the phone. Anybody remember the dialy thing on the phone? But we don't have that anymore. So things change. And you have to be able to alter or grow or adjust your product, your service, your marketing, your entire thought process to match what's going on with your clients. And that's how you'll continue to grow, and that's how you'll continue to stay relevant. Again, my name is Scott Hill. Start looking for Proximia accelerators first. Workspace is coming up later, but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Look, there was so simple.
Good morning. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. 95% of you will fail with your business. That is a fact. And the problem is there's 3 crucial truths that nobody's telling you about why. The first one is why we fail. Studies after studies are held, and people are considering why. These are companies that were invested in by investors and still failed. And why did they fail? What were the reasons? Oh, we ran out of money. There's no market for our product or service. Our product sucks. I'm like, who's investing in these companies, right? The thing is, though, is if you know anything about the real cause of failure, you look at these things, and these are reasons. They are not causes of failure. So these aren't reasons, they are symptoms of failure. Because there's only one cause of why your project or your business fails. And we've met the enemy, and the enemy is us. Okay? And we fail because we don't understand something called management. You suck at management. And the reason why we suck at management is because we don't know better. It's like driving and planning. All our experience is based on other people's incompetence, and then that's what we learn. And then that's what we apply for our businesses, and then we fail. The beautiful thing, though, is that management is one thing and has always been one thing, and that's processes. It's a holistic thing. In project management, we have 10 different knowledge areas, from scope, schedule, cost, quality, etc. Dealing with management of a project. Is there a better project than a business? So that leads to the second one. The second one is the focus on product is wrong. Okay? The reason why is because it's very myopic. Who here is familiar with this game? Okay. The video game industry is profoundly product focused. Okay. So, $1 billion game. I had 4 members of the team, including a producer, that worked for me. And they told me something. They said, Rupert, before the studio was Rovio. At Rovio, before we had Angry Birds, we didn't have 1 failure. We didn't have 5 failures. We had 71 failures. 71 failures before we had Angry Birds. And the thing is now you think they figure it out after second, third, fourth, fifth time what the common denominator was, right? So today, 15 years later, you go to the Rovio website and all you see is Angry Birds. They've got movies, they've got Star Wars and everything else, but there's no other IP. Why? Because they were so focused on product that they're literally incapable of duplicating that success. So if you're an investor, you're going to say two things. One, thank you. I gave you one, you gave me six. I'm a happy camper. Second is let's do it again. But they can't. They can't. They got lucky on their 72nd try. Processes make better products, and you can duplicate the results, and it doesn't matter what product or industry or service you're doing. Okay? Focus on process. The third thing is, I think coffee's kicking. So, everyone's not an expert. Okay? You see, you get inundated in social media and all the Grant Cardone and all these other people saying, oh, make $5 million a month, whatever. The thing is Shark Tank and whatnot, everybody glorifies startups. Well, we know better, right? Then this fail fast. This fail fast thing drives me crazy. And our waste bread culture, right, where 40% of our food's wasted, we sit there and say, let's fail fast. So let's throw the baby out with the bathwater. Intelligent managers and entrepreneurs fail fast at the little things, learn from them so that the company still survives. The money that we waste in investing in companies that fail could feed and clothe and house every human being on the planet. Money equals intelligence. Do I need to say more? I mean, you're investing in companies that go out because there's no market for the product or service. And there's always a shortcut. There is no shortcut. Right? No shortcut. If you want to be in management, a good manager, you need to learn how to be a good manager. And, we can't plug in and learn that. So, what did we learn? We learned that reasons for failures are not causes of failure. We learned that we are the biggest obstacle to our own success. We don't really know what management's about. The best processes are the ones that make the best products and services. And we don't listen to what everyone is saying. Well, we shouldn't listen to what everyone's saying, but pick and choose things, snippets of what each person's saying that resonates with you, combine it all together into your own gestalt for your own culture and your business, and then make that work for you. Just don't take everything they say as gospel. So, have a great day.
Boom. Oh, coffee cup. Coffee down.
Well, that's okay, it's not leaking, is it? Okay, well, once you've done something like this, you want to be successful. Well, how do you get successful? Obviously, you have to grow and you need to get very big. These are all the things that you need to be aware of if you're going to have a big company. I'll briefly go through most of this. Keep in mind that you're going to be able to find all this stuff. First thing, you've got a plan. We've been doing this for 4 years. We're ready to launch. Austin and Tim are a few guys that are part of our team that's doing this. We've got 18 guys on it. Shannon's one of our advisors. He was at our last meeting. He says, holy cow, Jeff Bezos had 8 people when he launched his. You got 18. Because we wanted to make sure every single one of things was taken care of by an expert. And a lot of these are subdivided. Obviously, you have a mission statement. What's your mission statement? You want to be true to it. We stole ours from Shannon. Ours is to decrease suffering and increase happiness. Everything that you do as a company should be related to that. And that's exactly what we're going to try to do. I don't want to get into specifically what we're doing. But that's what you need to have a headquarters. You have to decide, we're going to rent, we're going to own, where's the headquarters going to be, where the functions. Eric? Oh, 5 minutes, okay. All right, you're going to have accounting. Accounting's going to do a lot of things. They're going to take care of your, obviously, your ins and outs. They're going to do your income statements for you, your financial planning. They're going to take care of your RAs when it comes to that. And they're going to be involved with doing anything you do if you go to a public company. Human resources, that's pretty obvious. You have to have something to do. You have to have rules as a company. You have to have different ways of doing things. You need to have somebody to hire and fire for you. That's human resources. You have to have a legal department. Legal is going to do your contracts. They're going to take care of your patents, your copyrights, and any lawsuits that come your way. Just a lot of stuff that needs to be done there. They're going to protect you, basically. Product details. What are you going to make? What are you making now? What are you gonna make in the future? Look at all that different stuff. Manufacturing, where are you gonna make it? How are you gonna make it? What's your supply chain going to be? There's a lot of stuff that goes into manufacturing itself. Marketing, that's who you are. How to get this stuff out is who needs to know who you are, what's your target market, who you're going after. That's all part of marketing. Website, you need to have a website. Your website's basically gonna show your whole deck. You can have a deck to advertise what you're doing. Basically, it's all gonna be in the website. You just need to make sure that it's an easy website for people to move amongst, and you're gonna have a lot of sub-pages. Internet, obviously, everybody has to have the internet, if somebody in charge of it. Sales, maybe the most important part of any company. If you've got something to sell, you don't sell, you don't get anywhere. So you have to have people who know how to sell. That's why we have training as part of that, not just for the salesmen, but people who are working with distributors, with marketing, the whole shot. That's what Tim is for. He's really good at this stuff. You need to have a group of people that know how to speak to others if you want to get your point across what you're going to do. Senses, that's a fairly new thing. This is what you're doing is you're playing with people's minds. What we mean by that is everything that we make is going to smell like chocolate. The reason being, there's going to be some people that buy and reorder the product simply because they like the smell. The serotonin in chocolate triggers stuff in their mind. If you go on a Disney cruise ship and they toot their horn, what do? They play the Mickey Mouse song with it. This is subtle ways to do this. Distributors, if you're going to have a product, depending on who your end marketplace, you may need distributors for it. Ours is in the medical field. A lot of the stuff's going to be sold to doctors, it's going to be sold to hospitals. They, most of the part, are dealing with distributors. There are some we can get to on our own, but most of the time you're going to have to go to distributors. What are you going to charge the distributor? What's going to be your point price that you're going to give for them? How are you going to train the distributors on your product? It's all stuff you need to make decisions with. Data, very important. You're going to be having data every day. What do you do with that data, and what do you look at the future? What's the future of your company based on the data that you're generating? That's the stuff that you need to come up with. Now, obviously, I've kind of glossed over a lot of stuff very quickly. This is what you have to do. Basically, that's your entire business plan is wrapped up in all this stuff. If you do your work and you plan in advance, that's what's going to come out of it because you're dealing with all these things. And when we put our company together, we made sure that we had somebody who's an expert to deal with all those different things. That's basically it. You can go on the website and get all this information. You can talk to me at any time. I'd be more than happy to explain to you any part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. What's interesting is when you look at this component of the business, I think maybe with the exception of number one, each one of these is a job. And we have had somebody in the room, if we don't now, who does that.
Everyone is a job, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, me too.
Is it just writing mission statements?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, so I want
Or someone that's not a writer.
CEO, that's his responsibility,
All
your
right.
responsibility to take care of.
Well, let's go through it. Who has the job of helping companies write mission statements? Okay, who has the job of finding headquarters? That's commercial real estate. Yep, commercial real estate. Who's in accounting? Do we know somebody who is in accounting or finance?
Go figure.
Yeah, we know somebody who does that. Do we know anybody who does human resources, or do you do human resources? A couple of you.
Basically, your CEO's job is to know people who do different things and find whether they're with their own company or they're subletting it all of the different jobs.
And when you are the entrepreneur, you're most likely not just the CEO. You are all of these things until you can outsource it. What about legal? We know people who do legal. Product development. Do we know anybody who does product development? Yep. Manufacturing. Do you have a line on manufacturing? Do you know how to find manufacturers? Marketing. How many people are marketers in here?
We're all marketers.
Well, not just I have to market because I'm an entrepreneur. Like you are professionally a marketer. Put your hand up.
I got paid one time.
Web development.
Okay.
I'll even put myself in there because I do the content for the website, but we have a few web people. Internet. I'm also going to include the hardware and the networking and the infrastructure to get online. Do we have anybody who does that?
You wanna have a phone?
Anybody who does sales? Not just because you're an entrepreneur, but like you are a salesperson, you are a sales trainer.
Everything but
Census.
If
Who specializes in I would lump this in with product development, but who kind of specializes in that sensory experience? Any experiential marketers?
That'd be a question asker.
I know Scott, in his day job, helps people do AV setup for their events, so that's a lot of sensory stuff. Distribution, is anybody in the distribution business? I used to work with distributors a long time ago. They're a pain in the ass. And then data, anybody in the data business? If you know Patty Brownsworth, you know data. Marie's in data. Data over here. We got, so every one of these, if you are in your current position and you are looking for help with any one of these things, I'm not great at the website. I've got what's it, Wix, or what's the other one? Well, WordPress is the great one, but Square. I've got a Wix or a Squarespace website, right? That's what you got, that's what you put together, but you're ready to graduate. We have somebody who does websites, and go to WordPress. Like WordPress drives about 27% of the websites in the world. So if you need a developer, there are hundreds of thousands of developers in the world, and if you get into a tussle with your current one, you can replace them easily. You get somebody with Magento or Drupal. God, I hate Drupal. Somebody who's doing something that a very tiny percentage of people do. You're stuck with that person, and they charge you a lot. So find the system like WordPress where a lot of people know a lot of things. But any one of these, if you need help with any one of these things, we either have that person in the room, or we have had that person in the room, or we know that person. So if you've got a need, start finding people who can help you fill it. That's the whole point of building a community, is I need somebody who can do this. Do you know them? I do this. Do you know anybody who needs this?
Or ask one of the presenters, because we all probably know somebody.
Exactly. Yeah, you're just 2 degrees from whoever provides one of these services.
Does anyone know a plumber?
Anybody know a plumber? So I know the people you want to know on this list. Rupert knows the people you want to know on this list. Marie knows the people you want to know on this list. Just ask somebody. That's the whole point of having a community, is you get to ask for what you need, and somebody's going to be able to help you. So next week is our holiday party. We'll have donuts and coffee, but bring cookies, bring snacks. I think Eva said she's going to bring some empanadas. So there won't be any, so you don't want the empanadas because I'm taking all those home. Rupert.
Some entertainment.
Bring Rupert. What? Orlandopreneur is next Monday at Blue Martini at 5:30. 5:30 until question mark. 8. That means we're crazy. It could go all night. Rupert's going to stay filling drink orders until 12, 1 o'clock.
Fill this bucket.
8 o'clock, till 8 o'clock. So not much of a chat, but if you have not joined us on meetup.com, please do so. We do have a Facebook page and an Instagram account and a YouTube channel. We're also on Twitter. Not calling it the other thing. Not calling it that. I can call it in certain languages. The X also has a sh sound or a ch sound, so I could start calling it chitter. Or the other.
Or Twix.
Oh, Twix! That's a good one. Except I like Twix. I don't want to.
You don't want
I don't want to taste Twix. So anyway, make sure you connect with somebody here today. Did anybody meet someone new today? Go back to that person and say, hey, let's get coffee. Let's get lunch. There's the New General. There's Barney's Coffee just right up here, but there's plenty of great coffee places, plenty of great lunch places in the area. Stardust Video and Coffee is that way, and they have, I think, some of the best iced lattes in town. Plus, they're only $4, like $3.99 for an iced latte.
called Panera then.
Where was it?
Panera, Sean's headquarters, Panera. Stardust Video and Coffee. And there is a literary open mic tonight. And I know Josh has been there and read some poetry, and Pamela has been there and read some poetry. So if you want to come to that, remember it's Stardust Video and Coffee, not the Stardust Dance Club downtown. If you're having a good time, you're in the wrong place. Don't forget your parking pass. It is on the coffee station, and we will see you all in 167 hours. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. Sorry, question real quick, Raj.
I have a need for a Wayfair and a House social media manager, marketing manager. If anybody knows anyone who's experts in those platforms, please reach out.
Wayfair, the e-commerce platform.
Wayfair and then House, HOUZZ, home improvement, kind of design site.
Social media manager who's experienced with Wayfair or House. There you go. This is the power of networking. Make sure you two talk. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Oh, and get the brochure from Jim.